Well, hi Elliot, thanks ever so much for agreeing to do this. I should explain for those watching that we did this live on Sunday and unfortunately the recording didn't work, so we're now repeating this interview that we did on Sunday morning in the service, and it was lovely doing it live, I have to say, but it's great to see you now.
Well, it was great because we had people interacting and things like that. We should have put some cardboard cutouts. We could have had Sarah, our vicar, down there. You know, the congregation would have been fun. But this is great, just conversation.
Maybe we'll canned laughter.
Exactly.
Elliot, it's been really good meeting you and getting to know you a little bit over the last few months.
Likewise.
Well, yeah, thank you. And it's been great welcoming you to the church. Tell us a bit about your family, because you come with your family on the Sundays, don't you?
I do. My wife and my 2 children. We've been married for 11 years now. It'll be 12 years in June.
Wonderful.
I don't know if it's got a name for them. Everything seems to have a name these days. And she helps a lot in junior church. She did the reading of the story last week, for example.
Right.
My dog Denver made an appearance. And I've got 2 young, beautiful children. I've got a little girl who's turning 9 soon, and a young boy who's just turned 6.
Wonderful. So how did you come to join us at St Francis?
Okay, well, it's quite interesting because I used to travel a lot with my work.
Right.
I used to do a lot of travelling. So Sundays was never free.
Yeah.
And when we moved here, my wife found herself going to like a messy church once a month somewhere else because we had friends who went there. And when the pandemic kicked in, I suddenly started finding myself having some time. I really evaluated, like a lot of people did, it's like what's important, and Sundays were important to keep free. And a good friend of mine, Graham, who comes to the church, often within the worship band, we used to walk home together because his daughter's in the same class as my daughter. So we become really good friends, and we walked home together and we found ourselves talking about religion and God and pushing ourselves and asking questions. And I asked a lot about this church. And when we first turned up, we actually, turned up and did, that sort of Christmas tick. We're at the back, Christmas tick at church. We know a lot of us do it. And I said, we joined on the Zoom chats, which I have to say you did really fantastic, And Sarah was up there playing a guitar, jamming out by herself, which I thought was amazing. And as soon as we were able, I was like, let's go. And I love it here so much. And it's just amazing what church brings. And just for the community alone, just for that, everybody come from the same page. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you've got money, if you don't have money, you've had a good day, a bad day. Everybody's just on the same page, and you're just surrounded by friends and community. And also, I will say as well, is that it's great for children. I absolutely love that my children can come to church and can have good conversation with adults.
Yeah.
Adults who want to engage and have conversation. I think that's really important for their growth, not just their spiritual growth, but growth just as a human being.
I mean, how do you feel about the children's work that goes on at the church? What's your observation?
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. First of all, the patience.
Yeah.
Because, these are young kids, and, you're reading things from the Bible, and they're going, when do we get to colouring? But they get, when they're doing the colouring, there's some great messages in there. My kids, they bring back stuff like, God is love and important things for your friends. Well, how do you want your friends to be, and how do you want to be for your friends? And all of them are little messages that they do in the story. And Debbie, just if I had a hat, I would just take it off. She just does such great work, and I'm so pleased that my wife's involved with that now. And I think more and more people are getting involved. And for myself, I'm hoping to be, I am going to be working with more of the youth, more of the teenagers, and we're looking to form a youth band.
Right. Well, that's quite interesting, because you're not going to just make that up as you go along, are you? Tell us a little bit about your career and your job.
Okay, well, I've been working in music for 24 years.
Right. That's a long time.
Oh my goodness, if you think about that. Wow, I had hair when I started. I did. And I'm really lucky. I've done lots of different things, from working with A-list celebrities one day to working with people who just don't care the following day. From big venues like the Albert Hall, to festivals, to backstreet clubs of Soho and things like that. My two passions are songwriting and spoken word, and I created a business around both of those. It's called Monkey Nut Audiobooks and Sound.
Look it up, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think you'll enjoy it. And the audiobooks, which I love, I'm an audiobook producer, and we do a lot within the Christian community. So, for example, yesterday I was working with Brian Heasley at SPCK Publishing, who was there at the start and heads up the international side of 24/7 prayer. And then, worked with some great names, people like John Lennox and N.T. Wright, Spurgeon, who's no longer with us. But it was only last week we were recording 150 Psalms with an intro from Spurgeon, which was really interesting. But then also, which is a real passion to me, is the emerging authors. And we don't just do Christian books, but that's where my love is, And, people like Jenny Sanders and people like Lauren Windle, Simon Barrington, Sunil Raheja. I mean, that Dancing with Wisdom, you've got to read it. It's fantastic. And we publish audiobooks as well. And one thing which I think is really, really important, and I say this with all my heart going out to you guys, is that in life, you've got a lot of people who are, they get quite high up on the platform. So lots of people know their names. And what they have to say is really important, most of the time. But then, we must remember that everyone has a voice. Yeah. Everyone has a voice, doesn't matter who you are. But for me, it goes down to, are you brave enough to give the world the gifts that you've been given? And are the people going to be accessible enough to listen to what they've got to say and let those people, those emerging, have a voice as well? Because I've worked with some fantastic people.
Yeah. That's really interesting. And audiobooks is quite an interesting idea. Not everybody really is familiar with them, but I'm minded of one of our other church members who was here on Sunday, who often talks about the last book that he's read and how many books he gets through. And he has quite a long commute to work, and he's listening to an audiobook in his car and assimilating it. And what a wonderful way to get familiar with Christian literature. Unfortunately, my commute to work is about 5 seconds between one room and another, so I don't get the chance. But that must be a wonderful thing. How do people find audiobooks?
Okay, so there's lots of audiobook platforms out there. The most common one is Audible, which is part of Amazon. And that is great, really easy to use. For me, I think we should be supporting the other things as well. There's people like iTunes, Google Play, audiobooks.com. If you just write into Google audiobooks, they'll just come up, bang, they're all there. And most of your popular books have been turned into audiobooks. But it's interesting what you were saying about travelling. I mean, to work. I mean, when I drive to the studio, which is currently in Bishop's Waltham, we'll be leaving soon and moving somewhere else. But when I travel, I'm currently listening to God's Smuggler with Brother Andrew, which is great. I didn't record it. I wish I did. But John Wyatt, and we're publishing 4 of his books, he suggested it to me, and I'm glad he did, because I'm getting quite a lot out of this book. So, but you listen to it, but you were saying about people getting familiar with Scripture. You can listen to a Bible in a year by using an audiobook without having to pick up a book, because you've got to remember as well that some people struggle to read. Yeah. Some people can't read. Some people don't have the ability to read. This is a great medium to reach out to people and say, you can have the same as everyone else. And, if you're blind, for example, and you say you're reading Braille, what if you had someone reading the Bible with a passion? And there are lots of Bibles out that you can listen to. And also, if you're young and emerging, and I talk a lot about the outskirts of faith, it's like people are one step away, okay? And it doesn't, mean, we have to, go and start reading the Bible every day, but just people who want to explore. Yeah. It gives them the ability to do it in their own little private world when they're on the train or walking down the street or taking a dog for a walk or just walking to school.
Yeah, no, it's really good, really good. Thanks for sharing that. What I guess I'm most interested in is about how you came to faith. You clearly express a strong faith and a faith that is really important to you. But I wonder if you'd share a little bit about how you came to faith and what it means to you now.
Yeah, sure, I'd love to. So I think it's important to be honest and say that God came first for me, and Jesus came later on, though Jesus was always there, but I didn't come to realise it till later on. Yeah. And when I was younger, I always felt a very strong connection to God. At the time, I would refer to God as the universe. The universe, God, same thing. You know, it's that entirety, you know. And I would get these goosebumps, you know. I would be at school and I would have this sense of like, go home and write. And I'd get I hold a bass trombone at the time, you know, and I'd get home and pick up the guitar and let my 3 chords, and I'd press record on the cassette. If you don't know what a cassette is, look it up. It had to be chrome cassette, yeah. And I'd record, and I'd get these goosebumps. It was like a touch. It was like, keep going. And whenever I was a bit lost, I just naturally, there was like, kind of ask questions, you know, sort of a bit of guidance, really. I did that naturally. We didn't go to church when I was younger. I remember when I did...
Guidance from God.
Guidance from God.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I grew up in Southend in Essex, and I went to school in Leigh-on-Sea, and I remember looking out over the cliffs and out to across the water, and in a distance there were these beautiful lights, you know, it was dark and it was beautiful lights. It was actually Canvey Island.
Yeah, of course.
You know, not knocking Canvey Island at all, but it was Canvey Island. It wasn't as glamorous as it sounds. And I just knew then, I was like, what I have to do, my calling is out there. I left home at 16 and turned professional musician at 17. And along the way, I just kept getting these callings, these feelings. It was like, it was something internal, but I always listened to it. You know, leaving home that early, goodness me, it's so early. But I listened to my inner self, those inner callings. And, you know, sometimes it goes right, sometimes it doesn't. But the doesn't, you learn from and then progress with. And I used to get stopped down the street, Peter. I kid you not. There's like 2 occasions I can think of where someone said, when I've been a bit unsure, they've said, excuse me, it sounds really strange, but I just need to tell you, whatever you're doing in life, you've got to keep going. Right. You've got to keep going. And I was like, wow.
And did you think they were Christians following God's guidance, or just somebody that God put a word on?
I wouldn't know, but it was definitely a God-given gift.
How did you find out about Jesus? How did you connect those?
It came to me very, very naturally, because I always believed in Jesus. Right. Always. And I believed in the teachings. I mean, even if you are on the outskirts of faith, you know, following the path of Jesus' teachings is not a bad thing at all. It's a very cool thing. It's a great way to live your life. Yeah. You do, you know, take a few of them, you know, you're on a good step, right? But what I found within my work is that more and more people started talking Christianity to me. Right. I was interested, and I was asking more questions. Yeah. And the more questions I asked, the more Christians came to me. And then people started walking through the door with my workplace, and I realised that anything that I was thinking about, they would then start talking about and have like a message for me. They wouldn't say, I've got a message for you, Elliot. They would just say, talk about things, and I go, wow, thank you, because I've been thinking about this. But in return, I always had something to give them, which they walked away with. It was really interesting. And then I started asking more and more questions. There was like one of our narrators, Natalie Pownell. She was fabulous. I asked her lots of questions, and my chief composer at Monkey Nut Sound, a wonderful Christian, I'd ring him up because he's in Canada currently, and we would talk, and I would ask him questions, and he would tell me his views. And I found people saying to me, you know, refer to the work that I was doing as ministry. They referred a lot to that, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And then one day I was recording a wonderful lady. She does such great work, Jen Baker, and I'm going to see her next week actually. But I'm such a fan of what she does on Instagram and just what she does. It's just wonderful. And when she prays, she has such a beautiful relationship with Jesus. It's just gorgeous. And one day I was just with her, and I was producing her. I was supposed to be like the top dog of the day, and she was talking, and I just got really emotional, and I just said to her, Jen, I just really struggling, I don't get it. I said, I do get it individually, but I don't see how it's all linked. Holy Spirit, Jesus, God, you know, what does it all mean? And I think questions like that actually keep people away from the church sometimes, because I didn't get it, you know. And she just spoke to me, and everything started clicking into place. And she said to me, she goes, every morning when I go running with Jesus. I imagine Jesus running alongside me. And on the way home, I got in the car, and I had a pretty filthy car. I do have a pretty filthy car when I'm travelling. And I cleaned the passenger seat. Clean that up, clean up. And I just said, right, Jesus, I invite you to come and sit with me. I'll do the talking, you know, we'll drive and had a chat, and then suddenly you just feel it. You just feel it, and suddenly you're not alone anymore, and you never have been, and it's a really wonderful thing.
That's fantastic. And do you now take him into your daily work? Is he a part of what you do?
Has been for ages now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Has been for ages. I'll tell you today, I'll be completely honest, today I've had a pretty crazy day. I've been for the past however long, I've been travelling up north and then back, and then I was in London yesterday, back again. I'm working, running a business, trying to be the best dad I can be, the best husband I can be, bang, 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 bang. And today I felt myself getting a bit tense, and I rang up at a hotel, booking a hotel for one of my narrators, and the lady on the other end, she just didn't care. You could just tell, you have to go to bookings.com, and I was like, can you just help me please, And I experienced so much anger after that. I did so much anger, and I was fuming. And my narrator said, Annie, who I know very well, so it's okay. She goes, "Are you okay? She's really rattled you." I said, "She really has." And then suddenly, I was just thinking. I had a split second where I was just thinking about God, and I was like, "How can I calm down from this?" And then suddenly, I thought, "What would Jesus do?"
Yeah.
That's what I did. And I just went. And I went, blah, 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 but it's okay because I forgive her. It's all right, I forgive her. She's probably having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. And it's all right. She has annoyed me, but I forgive her. She can go in peace. I can forgive her. It's fine. It's fine. And then suddenly I was like, I'm fine. I'm completely fine. I have absolutely no problem at all. Because I let it out and I said, I forgive. And there is so much forgiveness and it's important.
It is. I love that way that we can call on God's guidance in that instant minute of difficulty and challenge and whatever it is that we're facing. And I've experienced that all through work. In situations where I've just no idea how it's going to work out, or really difficult things, dangerous things, times with patients that have been very concerning. And I've just seen God work in those situations.
So you kind of just have a little silent prayer to yourself during them moments?
Great.
Yeah.
As quick as it takes not much, almost. I'm not sure you even need to use words, or if you can shape words, sometimes that helps shape your feeling. I firmly believe God knows what we need and want, but still needs us somehow to ask, and not expect him to serve everything through to us, but participate with him in it.
God is a giving God.
Absolutely.
God is a giving God, And it's so funny because people go, oh yeah, well I'm into this kind of cosmic ordering, like asking it will receive. And she's like, well actually, read the Bible, because what you're actually talking about is speaking to God. God wants to give, but I think it's a two-way thing. I think that you can't just ask and expect. I think, you can expect, but the thing is you need to put in the work and look for the opportunities, and and be open to those little bits of inspiration and jump on it and be brave enough to follow and go for it. And it's okay if it doesn't work, because if you think about us being here having this conversation, which is a lot of fun, Peter, us being here, anything negative or difficult that's been in your life or in my life leading up to now, including today's still stresses and things like that, has still got us here. Yeah. So the negatives aren't actually that negatives if you can look for the inspiration to step forward in a new direction.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I hope this has been inspirational to you. It's been lovely speaking with you.
Likewise.
We did all this on Sunday. It's been great fun doing it again and hearing fresh this excitement for God that is in your life and your heart and your work. And I think there's something here for all of us in the way that we can take God into the lives that we have. We don't have to be anybody special. We don't have to have any special background. We just have to be us and invite God to be with us on that journey, just as you did that day with the passenger seat of your car. And I firmly believe that Jesus is with us in what we do.
And can I add something to this as well? Is that if you're thinking to yourself, I'd love to have a bit of that in my life. If you're on that outskirts of faith, as I call it, and you just think to yourself, what you're saying sounds pretty cool, but I don't know, it all sounds a bit weird to me, or something like that. check out your local church. Just check it out. I mean, because there are lots of different churches. There is a church for everybody. There is a church where it's a little bit more serious and a little bit straight on. There is a church like ours where it's just fun and community and really awesome. And I think that just go on the website, just take a couple of minutes, go on the website and just go, what's happening now? Oh, do you know what? They're doing like tea and cake, That's free tea and cake. Go and do it, or go and stand at the back of the room. Just check it out. Just pick up on the vibe of it. And don't go and go, oh, I have to read the Bible before I go. Just be at the back and just feel the vibe and see how it makes you feel.
Elliot made the point that he first checked out St Francis Church by looking at our Zoom services, and we still broadcast all our Sunday services on Zoom. The link's freely available. If you go to St Francis Valley Park, search for that, you'll find our website, and also on Facebook you'll find out the link to our services there, and you're welcome to join. There's a waiting room when you arrive, and you'll be let in. And it would be lovely to see you there. Yeah, if you'd like to learn more about this and perhaps chat to one of us, again, get in contact through the website, and we'd love to speak with you. But thanks for joining us today.